Hi,
Hello. How are you doing?
doing good.
It's a pleasure to meet you and thank you so much and welcome home again. How have you found that centering prayer has supported you, whether inside or outside? And when did you kind of come into this discovery of it?
Um, Prior to my incarceration, I was, and I consider myself, and I was told I was a bigwig businessman. I had a lot of people who worked for me, and I made an ungodly amount of money. And anyway, I thought I was the center of the universe. So when this incarceration happened, it was the biggest blow to my ego that you could ever imagine. And I remember talking to a fellow prisoner one day, and I told him I fell down from a big mountain as my metaphor. And then I fell all this way down this mountain into this deep valley. And I don't remember exactly the words he told me. He consoled with me, but he said, Michael, maybe you never were on a mountain. Maybe you've always been in the valley. And those words slapped me on the face like you can't imagine. And it turned me to the point where my life started to change right after that. And I started realizing that I wasn't the center of the universe, that I never really was as important as I thought I was. And so I started getting more involved in church because there was something going on. And it was just unbelievable to me how it was changing my life. But church was okay, except it didn't. I knew that I had to surrender. Okay. I don't even know what the term meant, but I knew I have to surrender my will. I didn't know how. My ego kept getting in the way. And I had this job where I was a clerk. It was a great job because there was no expectations. But so I just would sit down at this desk and I'd look, and there was a poster in that room, and it had a big old long rope with a knot tied in the end of it. And there's a quote at the end of the down at the bottom of the poster that says, "When you're at the end of your rope, tie a knot in it and hang on." And every day I'd look at that and I started thinking, wait a minute, that's not what happened to me. In fact, what happened to me is I got to the end of my rope and I let go. And Morgan, that saved me. And that changed everything. And so I knew I had to surrender. I didn't know how. And I found this group that met every week and they did centering prayer. And centering prayer became my way of surrendering. Morgan, I had answers to questions I didn't even know I asked. I don't know what happened during my meditation. It's like I'm walking on these lily pads on this river, and every once in a while I'd step off a lily pad and go down and into this, I don't even know what, just this total silence. And then I'd pop back up and get on another lily pad. But I don't know what happened during the meditation, but I can tell you after the meditation, I started realizing a lot of stuff about how blessed I was, even though I was in prison, um, who I really was, questions that I never even imagined that I was asking and I was getting answers to. To this day, I'm blown away. I mean, it's like every day something happens after my meditation that just confirms that I'm okay. And the paradox of this whole thing is there's a whole bunch of paradoxes. God. But the biggest one to me was the worst thing that ever happened to me was being incarcerated. The best thing that ever happened to me was being incarcerated. How do you figure that? Because I wouldn't have turned around. I would not have changed at all. Why would I? I was making all kinds of money. I was, thinking that people were less than me. I don't know. Anyway, all this stuff. And now I don't have a family anymore. Uh, but I have something that's sorry.
No apology.
Anyway, and the other good thing about the centering prayer group, and I'm finding that also in the Zoom meetings that I go to, is total acceptance. We had Buddhists in there, we had Christians, we just had every kind of imaginable belief system sitting around this or gathered around this room, and everybody was welcome. What centering prayer means to me, it's just everything. And now, now I'm feeling moved in a direction I don't even know, and I don't have many years left, but I'm moved in a direction that I, I can't turn around now.
I'm just going to sit with that for a minute.
You're doing centering prayer right now.
Thank you.
Probably anything you can use, but
Hey, I welcome tears. They are safe here.
yeah, it's not tears of sadness.
What is it?
It's just overwhelming joy of I know who I am.
That gives me chills. How did you know that you had to surrender?
You knew because if I wasn't going to surrender my will, nothing would ever change. If you believe that you're a son, S-U-N, you don't see a need to surrender to anybody. Every problem you can solve. You don't need any help. Thank you very much. And if you don't change that attitude, you won't change because that's hanging onto that rope with a knot in it. But if you let go of that rope, you won't fall down.
Hmm.
In fact, for the first time, you'll be free. Somewhere in the Bible says, when you're free, you are free indeed. Oh. So that's my story. And when you and Chandra invite me to talk, I have no choice. I'll go down to street corner and start talking about this if that's what I got to do. So important. Like I said, I don't know what happens to me during meditation. I have no idea. Half the time I probably fall asleep. But boy, I discovered it ain't what happens during the meditation, it's what happens after the meditation. These are like unbelievable, unanswerable mysteries and paradoxes. But wow, what a what a what a way to change.
Is it a timed practice? Is it you like what is that experience like of the meditation?
How to explain it this way? As I started on my journey, spiritual journey in prison, I became part of this thing called the prayer team. And that was about 8 or 10 guys. And we would meet, and uh, people would give us these little cards that said, please pray for, and then they'd fill out the card, and then we'd take the prayer. And we would go around this room, each one of us with these cards, and we would pray. And I started thinking, wait a minute. First of all, I'm thinking we're probably praying for something, and the person who gave us the prayer card isn't. It's like we're doing the job for him when he really should be doing the job himself. And the second thing is God forbid there be any silence in that room. It was always, dear God, please do 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 do, or give us do 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 do. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, how about if we just shut up and just let our hearts speak, not our mouth? And that I had to leave the prayer team, and then I go to centering prayer, and that's what it's about. It's silence. You can't describe it. It's indescribable, but it's a sense of it's like a baby in his mother's arms who not quite sure what's going on in the world. There's love. That's what it's about. So I guess a lot happens in that silence that I can't describe and nobody can because we can't figure it out.
Does it feel like you return to being that baby in your mother's arms?
Yeah, we really do. It's like it just, your mother loves you unconditional. I used to say, how can God love me after all that I've done? Ooh,
Do you love you?
I do now. I didn't. That's why I was making up with, I felt that, love meant having money, having a title, having people work for you. And that's not love. And the sad thing is all the people that I have as friends that I had when I was before incarceration, they never talked to me. But the people that I met as friends in prison were just tight. I would trust my life to them. I would never ever do so with the people that I used to know because their love is conditional.
Mm.
Obviously, yeah, there's some people in prison who I don't want anything to deal with, but the friends that I did make are solid.
That's beautiful. That's so rare in the world we live in today,
It is.
but it's also so needed is to have that community in your life. And so, how has having the community outside the walls really helped you in that?
I think a lot of our world, our countries, has lost the art of conversation. If you watch people talking, it's like nobody's listening. Everybody's waiting for their turn to tell their story. That frightens me because I don't know how we can endure if we don't know how to communicate. One of the reasons that I bonded with so many people in prison was we're all the same. I mean, it's like we're the low class, the downtrodden, and we're got a lot of regrets and we got a lot of shame, but we got each other. And that's very, very important. We're told to love God with all of our might and to love our neighbor and to love ourselves. And I realized I cannot love my neighbor nor God if I don't love myself. And I can't love myself unless I know who I am. Because if I don't know who I am, I'm loving something that's not real. And at the point that I learned who I was, and that can be summed up in just a sentence that probably means nothing to 100 people. I'm a child of God. It's kind of remarkable. And I'm not only a child of God, He still loves me. And now that I can love myself, I can love my neighbor. And if I love my neighbor, I'm okay to listen to them because I don't need to prove myself with them. And if they want to talk to me about their story, I can go with it and meet them where they're at. And that's what the two volunteers did in the centering prayer group is they never talked about themselves. They just wanted to hear about you.
And you mentioned regret and shame and all those feelings that could take somebody down, right? How do you get to where you are today, where you feel love and joy? What was that experience like? And how did centering prayer help you with that?
Here's how I'll explain this. I came to a realization that nothing I could do will change the past. The past is over. I can't go back there. I cannot undo things that I've done. Plus, I don't own the future. It's not mine. So I don't have any control over it. And the centering prayer thing allows us to be in the moment. And that is everything. If you can just be in the moment, nothing you can do about the past. And if you're in the moment, that is so important. And that is the essence of centering prayer in my mind is to live in the moment. And there is no other better way than to just close your eyes and silently repeat a sacred word and let your mind go and then come back to it every once in a while. It's like sitting on the banks of a river and you see all these boats going by and you just kind of accept the boats going by and then close your eyes and every once in a while another boat will come by. It's
And
just
are the
beautiful.
boats your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it something you practice alone or is it always in community?
No, it's alone. My preference is alone, but I do think it's important for me to be a part of a community, so that's why I'm participating in.
How does it feel practicing centering prayer in community?
Well, that's where the Zoom thing is,
Hmm.
and it takes a little getting used to. And I know I don't sound very shy, but when I'm first meeting people in a group, I'm kind of shy. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and talk while when they have engaging conversation. It's just like I got nothing to add.
I think you have plenty to add. I don't feel like you're shy with me.
Well, yeah.
I'm grateful for it. This has been so beautiful. I can't thank you enough for opening your heart and sharing with me your story. I'm very new to centering prayer. Um, but I do have moments from the past when I would meditate and I would feel that feeling of pure presence. And when we're coming from that space, like being present with you right now, like it's so wholesome and there's such a connection because my mind's not thinking about what to say next. And so I think this is where a lot of people are lost and maybe clinging to the end of that rope that, how do I look? How do I,
Yeah.
what do I say? And that stuff used to consume me too, until I started the process of letting go. And some of the hardest choices I've made were an act of choosing and loving myself. Um, and it's gotten me here today where I don't know how I did it, but it's beautiful.
It's my story. You just said it just exactly. I don't know how I got here, um, but it's beautiful.
It is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. And I don't know how many more years I got, but boy, I'm glad I got it now.
So what's your heart calling you to do? What does it look like for you now?
Well, that's a question that I pondered a lot, and I've come to the conclusion that I just need to wait. It will be revealed to me at a time when I'm ready to go through that door. And I think it has something to do with centering prayer.
Hmm.
I don't know how but I think that's what it is. I don't know,
You will.
but I will know because I now I trust God.
So I really like this is such a I'm very joyful right now in this conversation with you. It's just this is wonderful. And I'm excited to see what comes to you when you know. Because from this place we can do anything,
Anything.
anything. So that's amazing, Michael.
There's a lot to share, and I appreciate you giving me opportunity to give my piece.
I am blessed to have heard it.
If you uh, if you need more, just let me know, and I'll be happy to talk about it.
This was a wonderful conversation. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. This was just lovely.
Let's go.
Likewise.